Well, I'm here today with Walla Walla native David Maniel. David is a nationally recognized artist who is known best for his Western frontier genre and history-themed sculptures. David's talent was discovered when he was 3.5 years old.
Oh, yes.
And later, a first-grade teacher recognized David's talent, encouraging his mother to be supportive. And at age 9, David received his first national recognition, which was judged by no one other but Norman Rockwell. That was pretty prestigious. Much of David's career management is attributed to having his own museum, the Nez Perce Crossing Museum, where he is able to spend hours in research, and I've watched him do it, and he is amazing. And among the commissions completed by David are 3 monuments of John Wayne, which gained him the title of Authorized Sculptor for the Wayne Enterprises. Later in the 80s, David was chosen the official sculptor of the United States Marshals Bicentennial. This monument is now placed at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and I'm told that a small replica is in the White House?
Yes.
All right. Very, very cool. In the year 2002, David sculpted what may be recognized as the most complete depiction of Lewis and Clark. And that was a magnificent
There's
piece.
a lot of studying that went on.
Exactly.
You know, what they wore, everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You had it down. Yeah,
yes.
for sure. And there's a painting that goes with that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's also a painting. So.
Do you know how many bronzes I've done?
No.
129 bronzes, but none of them is so important as this one.
Yeah.
Because of the message.
Yeah.
And it's my first piece in Walla.
And we are so grateful to be able to have it out there on the front. That's where it belongs. Well, David, I want to say thank you for being here today and taking your time to share the backstory on this magnificent piece called Amazing Grace. And so what I want
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I want for you, if you would, to please share what inspired you to create this piece. What was your inspiration behind it?
Well, I really wanted to do a cowboy on horseback, but I wanted to do a cowboy that was turning bad.
Had gone bad.
But yet,
Okay.
has gone bad,
Yeah.
but yet was saved by the Bible.
Okay.
You know, as an artist, when I do a bronze, I see the whole entire picture of what happened in my mind. It's very important that I get everything as accurate as I can in my mind when I work on the piece. I actually feel like I'm the cowboy almost, you know, because I try to make that feeling correspond.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, give us the story
Yes.
then that brought this all about.
Yes, well, right after the Civil War, there was a lot of rough cowboys out there. And being he's riding on a stolen horse,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
you can tell it's got U.S. bits and then the U.S. up
That's
here.
brand.
Well, he went to see his grandfather because he was getting ready to go on a cattle drive.
Okay.
And his grandfather said, "Sonny, you're kind of on the borderline of being bad. You got a stolen horse and all that.
Yeah.
You better take my advice, and you better take this Bible and put it in your saddlebag. And once in a while on this cattle drive, you get a chance, go ahead and read it. It'll do you good."
And the
Well,
Bible's right there. Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
and so he did. Well, he went on this cattle drive on a stolen horse, and it was a hard cattle drive, a lot of sweating and a lot of even on the horse and everything, you know. And then he decided, well, I better go in town now that I got paid for the cattle drive and spend some money. Well, he went in town all right, and he spent it all. Well, he woke up the next morning, and like everybody does things like that, what did I do that for? You know. Well, just looking out the window, he saw the bank, and troublesome as he was in his mind, he decided to go over there and rob the bank because he needed money that bad.
Okay.
He did. He went over and he robbed the bank.
Right.
Went out there and got on his stolen horse and took off. There's the money right there. The sheriff was in eyesight of him and took a shot at him.
Oh.
That's why he's got this bandage on his head.
Gotcha.
Come that close.
Yes, yes.
Part of the story.
Right.
I mean, every little thing that I can put in there tells a little bit of the story is important.
Yes. So he gets grazed by that bullet.
Yes.
Okay, and that makes
Right.
a change that comes about there.
Right.
Oh.
And it's right there is where that Bible went to work.
Mm.
So he has the bag of money on his horse, and he's out there jumping around at every little, running from the sheriff's posse. He was out there jumping at every little piece of tumbleweed that was rolling by. He was scared for the first time because they were after him,
Right.
and they were going to shoot him if he didn't, for what he did.
Certainly.
But worst of all, he didn't want to kill anybody else to save his own life.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, like I said, he was just scared, and out there he decided, you know, I don't know what to do. I think I better read that Bible.
Mm.
So he stopped his horse and reached back and took that Bible out of his saddlebag, started reading it, and it really worked on his mind.
He opened up and he read it and realized the error of his way and that he needed to find salvation through Jesus, which thankfully he did.
Yes.
And came to the Lord.
So he decided after reading that Bible that he would go back into town to find the sheriff and surrender the money, give it back. I don't know what he would receive as a sentence, but at least he knew what he wanted to do because of the Bible. And so he went back into town, and if you can picture this, he's coming into town, his horse all
lathered up,
lathered,
sweaty and everything.
He's coming into town. It's evening time. See, this is what I mean about I put the whole story in my mind before I do the piece.
Yes.
And so he's coming into town. It's been raining into town, and the sun has went down. The lights are all yellow, reflecting out of the stores and everything, reflecting in the wagon wheels, tracks in the mud in the street. And you know, it really creates a mood. And these people, they see him coming into town, or one or two of them, and then they turned around and said, "Hey, isn't that the guy that robbed the bank?" And the word got around, and pretty soon he had a whole procession of people following him, seeing where he was going. And so before he knew it, he had women, children, and all these people following him to where he was going, wondering how come this guy's coming back. And he asked for where the sheriff was, and he said, he's in church right now. So he rode his horse down to the church, tied his horse up, had somebody go in and tell the sheriff he was there. So the sheriff comes out, wonders this guy, I had him in my sights. And here he is back again. And so he didn't know what to do, and didn't know whether to be on guard or not,
Sure.
The cowboy had the gun in his hand, so before the sheriff drew his gun, he handed the gun back to the sheriff and said, I wanted to give the money back. It's not my kind of life, you know. And so, thank God he had that Bible.
So, David, at the end here, you shared about the cowboy and coming into town, and there's a procession of people who come out, and he's telling them a story that of salvation by turning that pistol back into the sheriff, that there's hope for anybody who may think they've gone too far. Like our cowboy here, he almost went too far with that graze on his head.
Oh, I know.
Could have been all over, but God spared him, and he came to that place where he made a commitment to the Lord Jesus.
Yes.
And you know what? He became a witness then to all of those people in that procession, which is amazing, which is supposed to be what happens to us when we come into a relationship with Jesus, that we now become a witness to all those people he brings into our sphere, right?
Right.
And so this is a part of the story that I didn't know with the procession at the end, which makes it so inviting for people to come and to know Jesus.
Well, can you imagine those people walking through the, you know, some of them out in the street, walking through the wagon ruts and the mud street with the been raining.
Yep.
And they're muddy and everything, but they had to find out what was going on.
Right, and they did. So I want to ask you one more question, because that's a beautiful story that you shared with us. And that question is, what is the lasting message that you want this piece to convey now and in the future? What's the message you want coming from this cowboy to everybody who drives by out there in a truck or a car? You know, what is the message that you want to be conveyed?
Well, I want to convey the fact that no matter how bad you are, no matter what you've done, there's always salvation in the Bible.
Okay, yes. And so we want people to get in touch with us. If they have questions about what does it mean really to follow Jesus and come into that personal relationship. And so thank you for helping us get to that place where we can tell this story so others can come to know Jesus. Well, this is the thought that I would like for us to close on. This bronze was not meant to be owned by somebody personally who just wanted to set it on their property and show it off. This bronze was not meant to be on a street corner someplace in some city as a piece of historic art. This bronze was not meant to be in a museum for people just to come by and see.
Right.
This bronze was meant to be on the front of a cowboy church property.
You bet.
Where it could share the witness of Jesus with those in the years to come.
That's great. It's a great feeling.
Yes.
You know, I finally did a piece that's real important.
Yes.
You know.
Amen. Well, David, again, thank you, my friend, for sharing with us.
All right.
Very special, and we're so thankful for what David and Lee have blessed Cowboy Church with in this beautiful donation, which is awesome. And so
it's an honor
to say thank you.
It's an honor. I love what you've done.
Thank you.
It's a great honor.